There we go. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. We are live here on YouTube and Clapper. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. I'm a socialist. That just means I want equality for all, the removal of this very clearly two-tier justice system we live in. I also want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. And doesn't that sound a whole lot better than firing a bunch of people, including 80,000 VA employees? That's what I woke up to this morning. And as a disabled veteran, somebody who's spent the last 17 years under the guise of healthcare through the VA, they were already short-staffed. So, uh, also on that same thread, Chip Roy, who I'm quickly becoming not a fucking fan of, submitted a bill. Basically, what it does is it takes, yeah, right, right. I think it's a little more pressing that Donald Trump's administration intends to fire 80,000 VA employees. And Chip Roy submitted a bill to basically eliminate veterans' medical records from background checks for firearms. And if you can kind of see the sick, twisted shit that this administration will push veterans toward, I've said it the whole time. The right has no problem using veterans any way they can. And if they can get a veteran to lash out violently, it doesn't even matter who they hit. Chaos is what they're after. And so Austin, who came into my chat, said, "Good morning, Jared. It's March 6th. When are we going to see Trump and everybody removed?" With a follow-up comment, "When is EO coming out?" Okay, Austin, first of all, you have to understand I'm not an elected official. I didn't have a hand in that investigation. I just read you the fucking bill. So before you come at me, you better slow down. All I did was read the executive order to you and lay the expectation on the floor and say March 5th was 4 months from the election. When it comes out, I don't know. I can imagine, though, because every state did their own investigation, every um, a bunch of relevant agencies did their own investigation. Keep in mind, all those investigations were completed. By December 20th in the prior administration. All the sanctions coming out, laid. What we're missing is the indictments. Mm-hmm. Indictments. And ultimately, there's no time frame. So what I think's gonna happen, since you asked, when you're the commander in chief, you fall under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And given that the EU is preparing for war with Russia, Europe versus Russia, there's a swift end. Thank God. Someone had the balls to do it. Okay? So it's going to happen. Okay? And I'm thinking about today first all of the people that are going to have to die for this to end. I just want to point out there's about 3,000 people total, billionaires, all of them, and plenty of rich Christo-fascists and techno-fascists, and there's plenty of people that I would rather see go than every person that it's going to take to end all of this. Mm-hmm. There's a reason, though, that I've said violence is not the answer. Violence isn't the answer. The other side has drones. That's why I'm such a, like, the Second Amendment's kind of a bullshit amendment. What the fuck do you need a pistol for? They have drones. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? And when people talk about protecting themselves, what the fuck does the Second Amendment say about protecting yourself? That's not what it's for. See? You've fucking discombobulated the entire purpose for a firearm is not for running coyotes off your property. That's not what that was for. The entire purpose of a long rifle is to overthrow a tyrannical government from a militia that you were supposed to be part of if you're not on active duty. That's what this country was founded on. When you want to talk about the Second Amendment, it better never be no personal carry shit. You'll never catch me arguing on that wavelength. That's not the point of the Second Amendment. The point of the Second Amendment is so people like Donald Trump don't make it through their State of the Union speech. There, I said it. Real talk, a couple hundred years ago, if a woman had walked into the halls of Congress or wherever the fuck they were, the Capitol, with a sign and someone took it out of her hand, she'd have pulled a pistol and blew his brains out. So we're lucky that we live in a formal society where, what was that dude's name? Oh man, he ripped that sign out of that lady's hand, standing right next to Donald Trump. If this were the society that a lot of people pretend they grew up in, he doesn't make it out of that meeting either. See how much less violent the world really is than it appears, and that's why I keep saying violence isn't the answer. These people don't understand that. Chip Roy, who I'm quickly becoming not a fucking fan of. Why? Because he's doing what I keep saying the Republicans aren't doing, and that's submitting bills that with a Republican Senate and Congress and President and fucking Supreme Court, you have a real good chance of passing that shit. Okay? But the problem is the Republicans are turning on, not necessarily turning on Donald Trump, but they're turning on this regime. As the video I made this morning states very clearly, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And if you really think about the fact that Elon Musk is the most powerful man in the world, right? $400 billion in net worth. He actually now has less than 300 billion in net worth because the Tesla stock is crashing. And I don't know about anybody else. Good morning. But every day when I wake up and Donald Trump's not dead, I'm like, fuck. But then I look at the Tesla stock and I'm like, you know, we're all going to die. We're all going to die. But Elon Musk's going to lose it all. Like, hey, that stock's in a fucking free fall. And I know. Everybody's like, it doesn't matter. The damage is done. The damage isn't done. Donald Trump is effectively 1 in about 500 right now. If you don't follow the Democracy Docket, you should probably look that up. Mark Elias, who was basically the top lawyer during the past administration, is still going at it. And his team sort of monitors all the appeals to Donald Trump's executive orders and presidential orders, and he's won one of those. I'm just putting it out there. Democracy's holding. The one he got in his favor was not that big a deal. In terms of the grand scheme. Okay? So, the thing that I'm slowly starting to realize, I'm starting to realize why the Democrat, and again, this is conjecture. I actually don't know this. Just pointing this out. This is a conspiracy theory. Democrats don't want to be in power because of climate change. My whole life we've been sort of talking about this tipping point, the point of no return, the point at which things only get worse. And I hate to be that guy, but I am him. The next 3-4 years are going to be the start of the end. If we're here in 2050, I'll still be here, but I'm saying, like, I would be surprised. If you just look at the rate of natural disaster, and I'm not pointing to any specific type. You can look at whatever the fuck you want. Fire, flood. In Detroit, a water main burst, flooded a neighborhood, and it fucking froze overnight. So imagine your neighborhood gets 4 feet of standing water and it fucking freezes overnight. Fires in South Carolina. Where's FEMA? Look at the California fires. Look at the fires in Texas. Look at the fact, again, I'm keep pointing this out. There are 9 substations in the United States that control the entire electric grid, and one of them got blown up in Texas during the election season. There's a reason that I'm like, we need socialism. Why? Because I'm not sure democracy holds. How the fuck are we supposed to have secure elections in the future if we don't unseat this idiot and unfuck our elections? Where are the results of Executive Order 13848? Right? We're in the time period where from now on is an appropriate time to ask where are the results of Executive Order 13848? That's where we are. So every day I'm going to now include where are the results of Executive Order 13848? The time period has passed. That was yesterday. For all of you that are on my dick in the last 48 hours, okay? Dude, you're like on the clock going on like 24 hours. That time frame just passed. I don't work for them. I'm just reading the fucking executive order to you. But yeah, in terms of climate change, I would argue not even close. Not even close. His kids don't have the appeal that he does. Yeah, this is the billionaire oligarch class, the technocrat, the Christo-fascist attempt to take over the United States. Okay? This is their attempt, and it's sad, and it has largely been futile. And if you can't argue that. That is inarguable. The dude has over 500 executive orders and presidential orders, and one of them, he won in a courtroom. He lost all the other ones that went to a courtroom. So think about that. If it wasn't completely illegal, he has the ability to do this. It was challenged in a courtroom and he lost. I'm just inefficient is what you would call him. The biggest fucking loser. Which is funny. The Apprentice is the biggest loser. It's like TV show names. Anyway, But he really is. I just wanted to point this out. The guy that was the star on The Apprentice, what up, Crush, is the biggest loser. He really is. It sucks that he's our leader. It sucks that he's our leader. But part of my line of thought and the way they quickly conceded and got the fuck out of there. You haven't heard from Joe Biden, haven't heard shit from Kamala Harris. Climate change. COVID-19, bird flu, the flu, fucking all these things coming to be. When Donald Trump's going to fuck this up. And the people that are going to likely die are the people that they're likely going to affect are Trump voters. And they're like, the leopards eating face party will eat leopard face in office, no problem. And eventually the Republicans will die. It's just their policies are largely, if ever enacted, if there are cuts to SNAP, if there are cuts to Medicaid, if there are cuts to Social Security, veterans benefits, largely that affects Republicans and conservative voters. I'm just throwing this out there. Overwhelmingly, registered Democrats have college degrees. 2-1. 2-1. Which means they typically don't get those social programs. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing measles parties in Texas. So what I think is you're living through the largest planned, poorly planned, barely coordinated, barely executed. This is the one that sets the example for future attempts. Fortunately, they're stupid. Like, one of the things that I have realized, the most powerful men in the world on my mama are fucking stupid. They have no sense. Like, there's not a lot of that makes sense going on coming off of the right. Nothing that they're doing, it like passes logic. They're having fucking measles parties. Okay? So here's how I think about this. Wear a fucking mask, stay at home, save your motherfucking money. Don't get fucked up in this tariff shit. Save your fucking money. Watch these stocks tank and let's start socially owning these businesses. I'm telling you, there is a path forward. It's socialism. I'm telling you. Trump can't even fucking read. Had to look that up. It's true. Oh, what were you talking about? The measles parties? Oh, don't doubt me, dog. Don't doubt me, dog. The last time I got called out for saying something that wasn't true was when I mistakenly said Joe Biden ratified the 28th Amendment. That's not true. He made a statement about the 28th Amendment, but he did not ratify it. Okay. I don't normally fuck that up. Okay. But yeah, I'm starting to think Democrats didn't want to be in power during the beginning of climate change. Like the beginning of the end. Look at the fires. I'm telling you, look at things that are actually fucking happening. Somebody showed me smog over Dallas. I'm pointing to things that are actually happening, and I'm saying, could a Democrat have stopped that? No. Could they have responded better to it? Sure. But with all these things going on, you very clearly want the populace, the U.S. populace, to see what happens. What was the whole point of Executive Order 13848? Well, again, that time frame was up yesterday. So just because they haven't moved on it, it hasn't even been a full 24 hours since the fucking deadline was up. And the administration's changed hands. So I'm sure there's internal conflict. And surely you can understand why they're not lickety fucking split, right? And I've said before, I still have some feeling something's going on in the background. CC's right. Um, here's the alternative to that. Let me present this as the alternative to there being something going on in the background. So let's separate now. Like reality is where I'm like, dude, the rule of law has stood up. Executive Order 13848 is going to come out. There's punishments that have to do with that. Fucking whatever. I don't work for them. It's not my fault if it's not timely. So keep that energy, right? It'll happen. It has to happen. Those people are duty bound. They're all getting fired and shit. He's fucking with the FBI and the NOAA and all these orgs. Like, you mean to tell me there's not one person that works for them that had to do with those investigations that has all the data? Not one person? Not one person has seen recommended charges. Not one lawyer. So we'll pretend that true. Okay? None of this is going to happen. Okay? Here's what happens. Climate change is really fucking bad. It's only going to escalate in orders of magnitude. I've been railing this my whole life. If there's anything I've been fucking my whole life, it's climate change. I've been saying this. You better buy a fucking generator. You better get fucking solar panels. You better learn to grow a garden. You better get to know your fucking neighbors. The people to your left and your right. You better learn who they are. I'd be wary of getting to know them too well. Gotta go. One of the things I've learned in my life is don't get to know people better. That is a fucking terrible error. By the way, you know how bad of a husband I am? I found out yesterday that my wife has not heard Gautier's Somebody That I Used to Know and seen the music video, which I'm listening to right now. And so she didn't understand Doechie's fucking anxiety, which, by the way, if you don't know who Doechie is that new hot shit. And I'm a fucking hip hop fan. And Doechie reminds me of Drake because she can sing and rap. Doechie has a song called Anxiety that is a bite of Somebody That I Used to Know. And yesterday I was like, oh my God, Doechie remade fucking Somebody I Used to Know and it's called Anxiety and it's fucking hot. Right? And my wife is like, what? And I was like, Gautier, Somebody That I Used to Know. It's a song about a former couple and they sing a fucking duet and it's fucking insane. It's like modern masterpiece. And she was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm like a horrible husband. Like, I'm supposed to inform you when that, if you really think about Somebody That I Used to Know, that's a fucking banger. Let me look. It's a number 45 in the all time. It's number 45. 2.4 billion views. It came out in 2011. So before anybody's like, that song's not that popular. That song is that fucking popular. Anyway, so Doechie made a song called Anxiety. Oh, I love that song. I had to explain to my wife while she was listening to it, this has nothing to do with us. The words to that song do not have anything to do with us. Keep in mind, it's not Somebody That I Used to Know. It's just a tune, and it's called Anxiety. Yeah, I'll put it in here. Yeah, it's a great hit. And I cheer on confident black women, right? Like Jasmine Crockett, like fucking Doechie. like confident black women. But there's the visualizer. I just posted a link to the song in the chat. Listen at her sing, and she raps, dog. She could really spit, son. So yeah, let's talk about my theory. If justice doesn't prevail here, okay, let's talk about it because I don't think this is real. Okay, Democrats gave up the reins because 2 degrees Celsius is here, and they see widespread panic, and they see disease, and they see uh, disaster, and they say, and they see what happened in this election. They see Project 2025, and they do the math, and they say, who's going to survive? Who has the brains, the bronze, the money power, the education, right? Who and think about the United States. 335 million people with disease, natural disaster, fucking inflation. Who's most directly impacted? I'll tell you. Poor people, everybody wants to call them Republicans, and that's okay too. Cuz here's what I'm saying. 77%. Almost 80% of the people affected by Project 2025 and climate change, and they voted for it en masse. And I'm not even talking about taking the fucking election at face value. They have done it my whole life. And there's this saying about you reap what you sow. And that's what I really think is going to happen. I really do believe that. I really do think the Democrats were like, do the math on all this. Like, figure out who these policies affect the most, write it the fuck down, prepare your people, right? I've been doing this for a while now. We're over 100 episodes in, and I know for a fact I've told you to get to know your fucking neighbors. And to get get solar panels, and I told you, did I not tell you to grow a garden? And I want to say it's more like 92% of the people that will die voted for it. When you want to talk about owning yourself, you ever heard of a self-own? That will be what voting for Donald Trump will be the greatest self-own. Because the people it will affect the most are the people that voted for it and have voted for it my whole life. My whole life. I got told my whole life to shut up and let everybody else talk, even though you had a dumbass educated opinion that was completely flying in the face of fucking science. I had to sit there with my arms crossed, no child left behind, and let Timmy the dumbass fucking tell us about how we had better all learn to love Jesus and that climate change isn't real. Okay? So I'm saying with my full chest, it's time to start managing your finances very tightly. It's time to work however much it takes to satiate you, to pay your bills, have a little money in savings. If you're not in that position, If you need to learn to do a budgetary analysis. If you need to call me just so I can put you through the budgetary analysis and figure out if you're plus or minus. Good to go? And if you're plus, that money needs to be saved. Once you get to $1,000 in savings, that's your emergency savings fund. And there from then on, every other fucking dime you get over what you pay out has to go towards getting to know your fucking neighbors, growing a fucking garden, getting solar panels, get a fucking generator. One of the things that I would advise, as someone who plays a lot of video games, I'm big into like post-apocalyptic shit. Okay, big into zombies and not because I think it's real. This is definitely not real. Noise. Be careful about noise. I would argue to get the generator last because of the noise. You imagine a whole neighborhood with their generators lit up? You could avoid making all that noise, drawing all that attention if you just get solar panels. Okay? And I have no fucking clue where to get them. But I'm going to find it out. I'm now getting to the point where I'm doing what I'm saying. Good morning, Jared. Have you changed the time? I keep missing you because I'm driving. No. So what I used to do when I had a work is I would go, when I had to work a day shift, I would go live at 7:45. I don't work till fucking noon, so I go live at 8 a.m. So we only moved the show by 15 minutes. And the only reason I did that, are you ready for this? It's weird to start your show on the 45. It just is. How about a solar powered generator? Well, I'm going to be a smartass, K. Heron. You understand what generate means, right? And so if you have, and again, smartass, I'm being a smartass. Solar is generating power. Your generator generates power. So a solar powered generator, what? That's both of those things produce power. Generator produces power. Solar panel produces power. So yeah, I saw that. I saw that Hakeem Jeffries went on a fucking book tour and went and begged Bezos and Zuckerberg to have some favor. Okay? Just remember, I told you, don't obey in advance. Be the opposition party. There's a reason that I'm like, I'm dropping everything. I'm trying to put as much money in my bank account as possible so that I can invest as much as possible into the things that I'm telling you to do. Get fucking solar panels. Grow a fucking garden. Get to know your neighbors. Start handling business in your close proximity, with knowing that climate change, the culling is going to come. He's the number one recipient of money from AIPAC. I've been talking shit about Hakeem Jeffries for a long time and calling him a pussy ass bitch because he took a whole bunch of money from AIPAC. He literally talked all this shit, right? And then what happened? Nothing. Silence is fucking straight. Was that the wrong guy and I'm just a racist? Yeah, I don't think Hakeem Jeffries said that. He's the one that sounds like a robot. Yeah, BlackRock buying the Panama Canal. Mm-hmm. And they own the both sides. Yeah, I saw that shit. That's why I tell people now's the time to disconnect. Now's the time to get rid of Facebook, Threads, IG, get Messenger off your phone, get WhatsApp off your phone. Get rid of Twitter. Get rid of Amazon. Start shopping locally. Get the Goods Unite Us app. Get the Five Calls app to call your representatives. Let them know that you're unhappy with this situation. And let them know that we're coming. Let them know that the American Socialist Party is coming. It's coming. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm figuring it out. I'm just one of those people that will sit in quiet contemplation, that will actually think about the next move, that actually plots and plans, but isn't nefarious. I'm not trying to do some fucking crazy shit. I'm trying to do the right thing, right? We got to find someone that is an elected official that sees what's happening in Washington, D.C. and wants out. Is willing to not stock trade, is willing to not take money from PACs, that has a big social media following that says, Jared, I fuck with you. I'm listening to what you're saying, and you're saying these things ain't even that fucking hard to do. We need as many states that have already legalized weed. We want the federal government to give money to these states to grow it as a cash crop, to turn cannabis into a fucking lifestyle in the United States. Everybody's smoking anyway. Everybody's eating gummies anyway. That's the way it happened for me. I've been smoking weed since I was 18 years old. I'm 41. I have no known health issues. Every job I've ever been at, I've been the very best. I was in the fucking Marine Corps infantry. I have a college degree. Up until like 2 weeks ago, I was still in fucking school. I've worked 2+ jobs my whole life. I have no criminal record. You get what I'm saying? Weed is a pain reliever for me. My shoulder is fucked. Weed makes my shoulder not hurt so bad. I have PTSD like a son of a bitch. Weed actually just kind of calms me down. I've only ever had one panic attack. It was fucking debilitating. I thought I was going to die. Because I smoke weed. Like, smoke weed every day. Like, all day like Snoop, but not like all day like Snoop. Because that's fucking crazy. I don't know if you've ever done too much, but like, you can make yourself sick. Okay? I didn't know that, but you can totally do that. It's just like caffeine. Did you know you can make yourself sick drinking too much caffeine? I didn't fucking know that until my wife and I went to Oregon. Let me tell you this funny story. So I drink coffee, smoke weed, right? I don't do anything else. I don't even take ibuprofen. Because the thing about ibuprofen or Advil or aspirin or Tylenol, it fucks up your belly. It gives you ulcers. It causes other health issues. Anything you put in your body that's not like good for you, it has like drawbacks. Let me give you an example. This is how I'm in perfect health, but if I eat on an empty stomach, if I eat the Nerds, we found the Nerds things, the Nerds gummies. Right? It's a nerd on the outside. It's a cherry gummy on the inside. It's fucking awesome. It's like my favorite candy. If I eat a handful of that on an empty stomach, I'm gonna shit blood. I'm gonna have an ulcer. Right? It's a sugar bomb, and I ate fucking 20 of those on an empty stomach. It's gonna fucking cause a tear in my stomach lining. Right? That's just decision making. I don't want to shit blood and fucking die and cause myself health issues by putting dumb shit in my body. I learned when I was on active duty, when I fucked up my arm and they were like, nah, you're vital. You don't get to miss work just because you broke your fucking arm. Put that bitch in a sling and we're going to figure out what we can put in you to make it so you can work. Did you hear what I said? The only thing I didn't have to do is fucking pull-ups for a while. You know what I'm saying? I had to do the running, all that shit, with my shit taped on my fucking side. They were taking me wherever the fuck they were going. So I had to take pills. I did all that shit. I got sleep paralysis. I got to the point where I was constipated. I didn't shit for 7 days at a time. mostly because of my diet. But a lot of it had to do with the fucking meds, man. Painkillers. And the thing about painkillers is painkillers cause stomach issues. They cause other issues, right? So you're on painkillers, it causes other issues. They have to medicate you for that. These medicines combined have combined drawbacks. They have to medicate you for that. So one fucking painkiller turns into, between my best friend and I, so I broke my arm at the shoulder, he fucking blows out his knee. We go get surgery and come back. We both have 29 prescriptions between us. So we had all the dope in the world, could have become fucking dopers too, had it given to us. They literally let you pill yourself to death. And RJ thought that was going to be how he died. When he came back and I was like, holy shit, I have 13. And he's like, holy shit, I have 16. That's because we were seeing doctors at the mental health hospital. We were going to the Navy hospital. We're going off base to a provider. And then we had surgery. We were seeing 4 different doctors who are going to give you all the dope. I lasted 4 months. And I couldn't do it anymore. I got sleep paralysis. So I don't know if you've ever heard of sleep paralysis. But it's where your brain is awake, but your body's not. Can't open your eyes, can't move. It's pretty awful. And like I said, I've just got constipated as fuck. Couldn't get it up. Like, prescription drugs are the fucking worst. Who wants to live that way? And there's plenty of people that my entire life haven't just smoked weed. You don't need any of that shit. I got some job, they'll drug test me, right? I also think people don't have a threshold for pain. Like, I'm in pain constantly. My right arm hurts right now, right? But because I've smoked a little weed today, it's just now starting to bother me. And I've been awake for 2.5, 3 hours. That's a million times better than taking a bunch of prescriptions, them fucking me up, even worse, making my mental health issues worse, making my general health even worse, right? You just will never see it. It's never a Cypress Hill concert, right? It's like I'm taking my medicine. It's a inhaler. It just smells like a raccoon. You know what I mean? But yeah, I wanted to make sure we talk about, like, where my head is we need to find someone that's an elected official that wants to get away from the Democratic Party. People that already don't enter to the perfect time. Yep, that'd be me. Weed and my no joke pain is all over all day, every day. Yeah. I said raccoon and I meant skunk. Yeah. But if you get good stuff, it doesn't even smell like that. You know? For over 50 fucking years. Never had raccoon bud. I meant skunk crush. But yeah. So a lot of people have wondered, like, why aren't you freaking out, man? And now you know why I'm not freaking out. Yeah, so they can empower more of their people. I just think that a socialist movement, once we get moving and really big, we could socially own companies daily. And when I mean socially own them, individuals that are all friends make moves together. And I think our movement is going to be better than Elon Musk's movement, his buddy's movement. And the thing about it is, like I said, they're going to run out of friends. Because you got to remember, all these people in power that are making all these decisions that are going to impact people are mostly going to impact the people that voted for it. Anyone see the Putina tape with the Rusky reporter? The Putin tape with the Russian reporter? This is YouTube. They don't give a shit. And I get it, man. There's people out there that are like, I could never vote for someone that smokes weed, right? I'm here to tell you, like, hey, everyone that I've ever met that is a weed smoker has their shit together. Everyone I've ever met that's like super fucked up all the time, alcohol, harder drugs. It's just being real. Like the most unlikable people I've ever met, boozers, hard alcoholics. I'll never forget my wife's Uncle Terry died. Semper Fi, brother. Uncle Terry was a Marine on active duty during Vietnam. And at his fucking funeral, his sister showed up and got out of the car pouring a full bottle of Smirnoff into a bottle of water. And that's how she typically did it at the VFW. She'd order a drink, they'd let him walk out back and smoke. She'd walk to her car, take swig out of her fucking water bottle. People, onlookers, are just like, that's water. It's completely okay. She only had 2 drinks at the bar, you know? She showed up to his wake like that. Got fucking hammered. And again, people just like, what? Like, it didn't bother anybody else. Boyfriend been smoking this since he was 12. He's 65. It's crazy. But I think it's awesome. Like, I'm not an elected official. I'm not trying to be. But I do think it's pretty cool. The founder of the American Socialist Party is a daily weed smoker. In my eyes, that's like infinite fucking cool points. Because all these fucking suits are embarrassing. You know what I mean? I thought I was crazy at Donald Trump's State of the Union that the only person that had the balls to stand up was the guy with the old black man with a cane. I'm gonna say it again because it feels good. It pissed me off at the State of the Union speech that the only person that had the balls to stand up and speak out was a black man with a cane. And also, Jasmine Crockett has been kicking Donald Trump's ass. Called him Putin's hoe. Hey, man. Al Green. Only stopped on having kids. That makes sense. Thanks for not smoking while you're pregnant and shit. It seems like disastrous. I wouldn't want my kids to have asthma. You know what I mean? And am I not surprised? Not at all. Am I surprised it was a black man? No. Was I surprised it was a disabled person? No. Did I think it was going to be Al Green? Fucking no. I don't even know who that was. Real talk. I don't think all of the players are relevant. There's a lot of people in politics that are just there. We got to make it through this onslaught of bullshit. Again, this is again assuming justice doesn't prevail. This is assuming that what Barry said was a load of shit. You know, one side plays by the rules, the other side doesn't. When one side doesn't play by the rules, we're going to fight about that. What fight? Kamala Harris said fight 18 fucking times in her concession speech. What fight? I'm not the type to go down without a fight. Kamala Harris at her desk signing. Like, what fight? Right? What fight? You know, Maxine Waters, first elected official to say something about this Elon Musk rigging the election. A black woman. Just want to point this out. Black women. Al Green, black men. Right? Just want to make sure. Like AOC, is it fair to call her a Latina? And then I think AOC Cortez, I think, isn't she? Yeah, so AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Al Green, black, Latina, right? Bernie Sanders, not a fucking Democrat, by the way. Crush said, be more specific. What do you mean? About who? I was just saying, like, think about the people standing up and speaking out and actually women, right? Always give props to women. That's the majority of my fucking audience. But I'm saying in politics right now, AOC, born in PR, Puerto Rico, Jasmine Crockett, black as fuck, Al Green, right? The people actually standing up, speaking out, saying something against this regime. Melanie Stansbury from New Mexico. Hey, speak on them. Speak on them. That's what I'm trying to say. There are people who need to be lifted up at this time, and there are people that are just players in the game. You don't even know their names. You don't need to know them. They're pawns. But I've been thinking about this for a while, and I didn't say anything because I was like, I don't want to put it in people's brains and then freak the fuck out. What if he's right? Okay. So one of the things that I keep thinking about is what if climate change is so bad that Democrats didn't want to be in power at the beginning of the destabilization of the United States as a result of climate change? One, because there's too many stupid people left and they're going to fuck everything up. And they looked at the policies and plans of the incoming administration. They said a lot of people that vote for this are going to be the ones that die. Because that's what I did. Real talk. And that's one of the reasons that I've kept it to myself, is because I realized, oh, this is just self-fulfilling prophecy. This isn't me being smart. I'm not smart. This isn't like I figured something out. It's just when you look at all of the policy, not the ideas, the things that are going to actually be policy, the stripping of Social Security, SNAP, Medicaid, and veterans benefits north of 70% Trump voters. And for the record, the veterans were the most mixed group of all those. So understand, yes, it's going to affect me, right? Darn. It's going to affect a lot more the people that voted for it and the people that rely on it. Okay? What's insane is now you speak up, exercise your First Amendment rights, and fear for your life. I don't fear for my life, thank God. And that's because I've never really called myself a Democrat or a Republican. I want to believe that this democracy will make it, and I'm hoping it survives. Climate change is going to be a motherfucker. Paired with this administration, it's going to largely fuck up the Republican base. Their voter base is going to be directly affected by this. Almost 4-1. And I've tried to tell you that this is a war of attrition. There's a reason I'm founding the American Socialist Party. This will be the death of the Republican Party. They will not win elections after this. I'd be surprised if they win anything at these special elections. I'm saying it with my full chest. I expect the Democrats to run a coordinated enough campaign to win all three of those races, gain back the House, and largely thwart Donald Trump. And they are going to think that that's good enough because holding him accountable is out of the question for fear of their safety, which means that this is a tyrannical government. And this makes all you pussies, all you people that are Second Amendment nuts. If you go read the Second Amendment, the whole point of you having access to a firearm is so that you could overthrow a tyrannical government. Well, atop Capitol Hill sits the tiny-dicked tyrant and his oddly dicked outcast master. Oh, you're not going to do anything? So it wasn't about overthrowing a tyrannical government at all, ever, was it? Didn't think so. Yeah. It's because they're cowards. I'll say it. If you aren't speaking out against Donald Trump's regime, it's because you're a pussy. You're a coward. Get out of politics. Oh, cool, more dick stuff. That shit's hilarious to me. What about election interference? That's what this whole Executive Order 13848 is supposed to let us know. What happened during the 2024 U.S. election. Right? Here's what's fun. Remember how I told you Donald Trump keeps losing? Compromise or not, you're a pussy, yeah. All those people that talked about Second Amendment, you know, it's about a militia, man. It's about our right to rise up against a tyrannical government. Well, here's a tyrannical government threatening food stamps and medical care for children and money for cancer research. And the thing I've realized is that most people don't have the capacity for empathy until it affects them directly. And then once it directly happens to them, then you have fucking empathy. Yep. New York and Florida have special election coming. Yep. Gay Valamont, Josh Weir, and I can never remember the third one. The People's Union, USA, a grassroots movement. Boycott of Amazon begins Friday. Who's not going to survive this one? I'm going to survive. I work from home. I can grow a garden. In the next 3 to 6 months, I'll have solar panels and a backup generator. I'll put enough solar panels up to provide power to my neighbors. Before it all goes down, we'll have walls up. This will be Alexandria. I live on top of the hill. I don't own a firearm, but you can imagine if things get rough. I don't have a problem walking around. Growing a garden. Well, see, this is the thing about nukes is the missile defense system that went online a long time ago. So What about them? It was not asked, but to share, I'm not a Moskowitz fan or Shapiro. Because they talked about our college students protesting university and going, giving voice to Palestinians. Good. Yeah. So yeah, I know people are like getting mixed messaging now. And again, I want to make sure you understand we were talking about what if I'm wrong. My thought process is that democracy holds, that justice holds, Donald Trump's illegitimate, it gets found out, happens. Um, I have to think something's going on in the background until there's evidence that there isn't. But that's not my fault. So I want to make sure everybody that's coming to me, okay? Everybody that's coming to me, you guys got to understand just because I read the order doesn't make me responsible when shit does not pop off. You know what I'm saying? It's not my fault when nothing ever happens with Executive Order 13848. Don't kill the messenger. I came here with a message of not hope, not hopium. I said it a couple times early, but the hard reality was I got hooked into doing it the way I wanted to do it, which was talk about shit that's actually happening and effective things, things that actually make sense to do, like boycott, protest, and strike. If your plans don't include boycott, protest, and strike, you cannot say that you participated in the resistance. You have to delete Facebook Threads and IG and Messenger from your phone, get WhatsApp off your phone, Twitter off your phone, and Amazon off your phone. Participate in the Great Tech Rebellion. Once you realize, like, hey, it's pull the band-aid off, delete those apps from your phone. I didn't even tell you to deactivate your accounts. Stop using them. Okay? Once you've decided, okay, I can do that, Jared, my next ask would be stop buying shit on Amazon, start shopping locally. You can even shop locally on Amazon. You can shop at a small business on Amazon. You find something you want to buy, go to that, find out who the seller is, go to their website, buy that product from them minus the fee that Amazon charges. I know that sounds like a whole lot of work, but hey, you not being willing to do that work is why you're under their rule. Do you understand? Being unwilling to do the hard shit is why we're in the spot we're in now. They literally gave Donald Trump the presidency because they were afraid. They haven't done anything because they're afraid. And as I've said before, if you're scared, go to fucking church, but don't lead. Don't get into leadership if you are fucking afraid. Like, I know it's coming. I sat here and fucking just told you, okay, let's play your stupid game where nothing happens. Climate change is so fucking bad, all kinds of people are going to die. That doesn't have anything to do with bird flu, the flu, fucking COVID, fucking, you know what I mean? Doesn't have nothing to do with that. Doesn't have nothing to do with that. There's a whole bunch of motherfuckers that are not getting vaccinated and are not wearing masks. Get vaccinated, wear masks, get 8 hours of sleep. I'm literally telling you to do what they're not willing to do. And who's they? Your opposition. Your opponent is not preparing for this. Your opponent's not sitting in a chat room in a podcast where the guy sitting in front of you is like, I'm an Eagle Scout. I was in the Marine Corps Infantry. I'll play your fucking game. Get to know your neighbors. Save your fucking money. Grow a garden. Put up solar panels. Get a generator. Learn to be self-sufficient during this time instead of panicking all the time. Control what you can control. Get 8 hours of sleep a night. Drink water. Hydrate. The other guy doesn't do that. The bad guy doesn't do it. Your opponent, he don't do that. Eat right. Eat good shit for you. Mostly vegan, for the record. That's how we do it here. Mostly a vegan diet. Once you get processed food out and get more whole food in, you're just going to feel better. Yep. Why am I telling you to do all this stuff? Because I know the other side's not. Who's going to survive? The people that are prepared to survive. Living above ground is not going to be an option. It's going to be too hot. And the next, who knows? More basements. More 2-level basements in your housing. More houses built below ground. More of your house built below ground. Build your house into like the side of a hill or something. Move if you can. I got a head coaching job interview. My wife and I may sell our house and get out of our neighborhood, right? And go move more remote. And I'll be looking for a house built into a hill. Why? Because as climate change continues, as the temperature climbs, that overall high average temperature, for the record, that means your furnace should last longer because it won't be working as hard as often. It's your air conditioners that are not prepared for high temperatures. Mel's, there's a reason I've said grow a garden. Grow your own. If you line your growers with alpaca poop, you'll get like a 35% yield in both the size and the number of veggies, per plant and shit. You need to not only grow your fresh, grow your frozen. You need to grow so much that you can give it away to your fucking neighbors. So they see you as not violent, right? Because what they're seeing out in the world is abject fucking violence. One of the things that I am frequently having to remind people, if you're using your credit card to buy food, you are financing your food. We're already there. Alpaca poop. Want chickens to have two, yeah. Or you pin your chickens and only let them out when the Germans are inside. Or introduce the Germans. Germans are smart. They'll figure it out. Yeah, the problem is they don't know when to buy and shit. They don't have insider information. They don't know. And I've been watching the analysts, and they're like, we don't know when the stock is going to turn around. We don't have when is there going to be positive news that changes the roles reverse, right? Stock market's in a fucking free fall. Elon Musk's company's stocks I mean, look at fucking Tesla. That stock is or is it Tesla? Yeah, Tesla's fallen 30%. See, CC the Coyote is why you get the firearm. When I uh when I first came home from the Marine Corps, my brother had bought land and something smelled funny in his backyard. And his house backed up against the hill, and he owned all the land up the hill and on the opposite side of the hill. And we walked up the hill. There were carcasses fucking everywhere. And he had binos, and we were looking out over this hill. Coyotes fucking everywhere. And we counted like a lot of them. A lot of them. My son and ex have been preppers forever. Prepping's a little weird. Remember, I haven't said anything about that. I actually think that that might be an over prepared situation. Why? One of the things that we don't realize that's gonna break first is the supply chain. Um, so when the supply chain breaks, that means you have to travel to eat. I hope this helps. So I just want to make sure prepping is not that's not what you should be doing. You need solar panels that you can remove and take with you. You need a generator that you can move and take with you. You need a vehicle that you can put that shit in and take it with you that can go without gas. Might I suggest a Rivian? Might I suggest the Ionic? Might I suggest the Mach E? I'm trying to tell people get electric vehicles. Get electric vehicles that charge solar. Dude, you told people over and over again it was your thoughts and not hold you accountable for the theory. What? For their theory. Must cancel interview with Jon Stewart. Yeah, he coward. He's a coward. Come on. We both know Elon Musk couldn't sit in front of Jon Stewart and take it. It's not in his. Yeah, but yeah, like I've said, a lot of people haven't thought this through far enough. Jared, you told people over and over again it was your thoughts and not hold you accountable for their theory. It's okay to can. I just wouldn't consider prepping. It's just it's too much end time work when we have so much work to do before then. Again, as I've said, in the next 25 years, shit is going to get wild. Far more wild than it is right now. And a lot of people are going to want to check out. And one of the reasons that I wanted to make a daily live podcast was to tell you, don't fucking kill yourself. I told you I wanted to start a clothing line called DFKY. I haven't forgot about that. I got a job. I got a stupid high paying job that I'm really fucking good at, actually. Like, closed 6 of my last 7 deals, have a complete 180 turnaround. My boss has a meeting today where he's going to shout me out. Dude, I haven't even been there 6 weeks. Okay? But if you think the answer is prep, I'm just letting you know, when the supply chain breaks down, the movement of food You have to go where the food is. So the problem with prepping is that it's too much about staying in one spot when that's not what the environment calls for. It calls for more of a nomadic approach, a more fluid approach, a more, I don't know, Cyberpunk 2077, where it's not necessarily about keep it on you, it's about having the right tools for the job. Get in, get the job done, and get out. Um, but yeah, for now, grow a garden, put a pack of poop in your soil so that you grow even more than you need. Give it away to your neighbors. Yeah, freeze it and can it, sure. Put it in your fridge, eat fresh vegetables and shit. But understand my purpose for your garden is to keep you alive. If you have the big garden, they're not going to kill you first when they come for your neighborhood. And who's they? I don't fucking know. I don't actually know who that is. Y2K came along, people bought generators like crazy. I'd argue this isn't a Y2K like scenario, but I understand the parallel. Like I said, I'm not here to instill fear. People keep asking me how come nothing's happened with Executive Order 13848, and I've said let's go down that road. Let's say nothing happens then. Uh, Millions and millions of people die, and we for certain end up in a war. Millions and millions more people die. Yeah. How should so not that I've experienced, but I grew up. My parents had a garden. My parents had a pretty lackluster garden because they didn't water the garden enough until they put alpaca poop in it, and then we literally had so much stuff that we get to give it away. Yeah, yeah. Rivals to Tesla. Hmm. Dude, people are putting other makes of vehicles badges on their Teslas. Just get rid of your and I'm starting to see posts where people can't even sell their Tesla. It feels so good. CC, they probably have a business packaging alpaca poop. Oh, that's awesome. See, that's what I've thought about. Getting an RV. Here's this bullshit. I heard a little birdie last night tell me Donald Trump is pissed because of the lack of deportation numbers. Oh, and that speech, that State of the Union speech, impeachment over his speech. Freedom of speech, my ass. Here's police appear to be arresting people protesting. Some free speech. They submitted a bill to legalize and criminalize, make protests illegal. You think that, but they're all already invested, CC, so they're all losing billions of dollars to, and they don't know when it's going to bottom out. See, that's what I think about what you're saying is short-sighted. All of his rich friends are already overinvested. They're all losing billions of dollars to, you don't make as much money betting on a stock failing as you do buying low and selling high. Think about how they would be taking heavy losses because all of the stocks are down. Also, a 40-day boycott of Target started today. Okay. And here's the first article I've seen. So keep in mind, how long have I been saying Gay Valamont, Josh Wheel? I can't even remember who the person in, what is it, Western New York or whatever? Okay. By the way, here's a calendar. We've been talking about this. We've been operating off this calendar, okay? So today is check your subscriptions and cancel where able. What's crazy is I didn't actually even know that until right now, and that's what my wife and I were doing this morning. I recommend the Rocket Money app. You attach your bank accounts, and it tells you what subscriptions you have, and you can get rid of them. I'm not advocating to pay Rocket Money. I'm just letting you know. Good to go? But I downloaded that app this morning. We looked at our subscriptions. Cancel your subscriptions. Here's what I found yesterday that I forgot to make content on because I almost did because my wife, I haven't even told my wife yet. So you know how you can downgrade your Netflix account to be commercial heavy? You like pay less money, will run ads during your shows. Guess what Netflix is going to start doing? Yeah, I am. I have no idea. CC, I'll read your message. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't even. I'm not even mad. I don't even know when that was. What comment was that to? You know what I mean? So yeah, what was I even talking about? Tomorrow is the Stand Up for Science protests. New York 21, Glenn Betabine or something like that. Yeah. Yep. Today is the cancel your subscriptions. Okay. Oh, Netflix is going to start restricting your access to shows if you have the commercial version of your account. So you don't actually get full access to Netflix unless you pay the full amount. I'm going to say it again. Netflix is changing its rules. People that are savvy, that decided to pay less money and let them run ads during your shows, you are now not also getting full access to the app. Just want to throw that out there. I think like it's probably time to dump Netflix. I'm just saying. It's probably time to dump Netflix. Yeah. All Netflix subs, just don't use it for 2 months and unsub. That'll fix that. Okay. Let's look here. So when I look, there's Stand Up for Science protests tomorrow. There's a women's march Saturday the 8th. Okay. And I'm looking at this calendar. Also, don't buy Amazon. Starts tomorrow. So on payday, don't buy Amazon for a week. Okay? Next Friday, the 14th, is a national strike. Okay? And then on the 15th is a total shutdown. So no travel, spending, working, shut it down. Okay? And then we'll talk about it after that. Okay? So today's the what? The 6th. So yeah, we're talking about like the next 9-10 days. Okay? The average consumer funds politicians and PACs about 3 times more through their purchasing decisions as compared to their direct political contributions. Remember, all these politicians are invested in the stock market, and they also insider trade, and it's legal for them to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look at the stock market. It's in a free fall. What do you mean the boycotts didn't work? Q1 earnings are abysmal nationwide. Boycott worked. Mm-hmm. Well, the thing about it is, Patty, that doesn't even have to fucking happen. Elon Musk's satellites are destroying the ozone upon reentry. They're aluminum. When aluminum gets really hot, it gives off a gas that destroys the ozone layer. Aluminum oxide. Yeah. Misinformation, Mel's. The way I think about it is this, Mel's. If one person less buys, it's already a win. Seeing it as any other way is giving the bad guy too much credit. You're willing to let him win, right? Yeah, they lost trillions of dollars, by the way. I'm not even arguing with you, Mel's. I'm saying if even one person didn't buy, isn't that a win? Yeah, that's a movement. 2 people, it's a movement, right? So the way I see it is, what really happened is they lost trillions of fucking dollars. We'll just set that aside. Look at the fucking stock market. Yep. Like I said, I wouldn't get on here. Here's my thing. I would not get on here and tell you shit that I don't believe. Do you understand? So when I sit here and say protest, boycott, and strike are your most effective tools against an authoritarian regime, that's because that's the facts. That's not conjecture. Like, my wife and I, who are dinks, double income, no kids, we got dogs. We typically spend. We're not. We're saving. It's just the way it is. Netflix is the fucking way to quit that shit. Is a way to win. Is to hit these motherfuckers in the dick, right? There's a reason it's correlative. There's a reason yesterday we spent a whole bunch of time talking about dick jokes, and then today we spent a whole bunch of time talking about protest, boycott, and strike. It's like a kick in the dick. They cannot handle it. The thing that they value more than people, money, is losing. They are losing money. They hate that more than losing people. They don't give a fuck about people. They have to lose all the money. They're losing all their profit to buy it back cheap. CC, you're not making sense, dear. If you're talking about new stock owners, That makes sense. Because let's say you hold a bunch of Tesla stock at $500 a share, okay? And it drops to $250 a share. When did you sell? When did you sell? No. No. They had to sell, which would have already had to happen. You would know there's been a massive sell-off of all these stocks. They're eating it. It's a bear. It's just going down. They're just doing it to hold on to control. But what happens when those stock prices crash is you get to, I'll put it like this. I worked for a company that had a $270 stock that went to $27. What should have happened is we socially buy the business and own the business as individuals. Socialism should have happened. Yeah, go to the library if you want to watch TV shows, go read books. That's better anyway, right? I never have gotten sucked into Netflix other than for like The Walking Dead. Because we watch reruns in this house. We watch The Office. We watch How I Met Your Mother. We watch Parks and Rec. That's what gets watched in our house. Yeah, called Libby. That's what we have for our local library. Dina is Libby. That's what I have on my phone. It's like Amazon Books or whatever, but it's your local library. It's an app called Libby. I recommend you read. If I'm gonna recommend books, I recommend you read The Alchemist. This is the 25th anniversary edition. This is my favorite book. I've probably read The Alchemist every 5 years. I think I came across The Alchemist in late elementary school first. I could be wrong. Trying to. So yeah, check out Libby. Read The Alchemist. The themes that I picked up off The Alchemist are read the signs. Also knowing like correlation is not causation. So you have to have a pretty sharp mind to understand the signs versus you making something into a sign. Also to know who the characters are in your life, like know who the people are, know them, know what they're for. Know that lots of the people that you're going to meet just are single use, just like in Fight Club where they talk about single use friends, right? Um, and yeah, let's play Eat the Fucking Rich and get out of here, huh? Stayed on a little late today. Like I said, I don't like to be in that frame of mind where I'm talking about what happens. You know what I mean? If what if Executive Order 13848? What if those reports never come out? What if there's no justice? What if democracy falls? Right? There's a reason I'm a socialist. While I love and appreciate the notion of democracy, it's romantic. If it doesn't hold, if its rules don't apply, that's the problem. Yeah, yeah. I've been saying everybody's worried about this asteroid that has like no shot of hitting us. and you're not paying attention to the fact that Elon Musk's satellites are aluminum shell, and they burst in the atmosphere and destroy the ozone. Mm-hmm. And I've said before, good thing he didn't decide to weaponize those. Good thing he didn't build them to become fucking giant shape charges and shoot them at his political rivals. But if you wanted me to guess what they're afraid of and why they're bending the knee and kissing the fucking ring and letting Elon Musk walk all over our fucking democracy, and it's because they're afraid Elon Musk is going to send a satellite or a fucking robot at them. I don't fucking know. All I know is if Jasmine Crockett's not scared, if Al Green's not scared, if AOC's not scared, if Bernie's not scared, I ain't scared. When they're scared, I'll be scared. When they shut up, when they stop talking about this shit, I'll consider it. I probably won't shut up ever. Oh, and also I want to point this out before I go. Just one last little tidbit here. Look at the rate of aircraft crashes over the last like 18 months. Think about how prevalent aircraft crashes have been on the news in the last month or so, and chuckle that actually technically there are less aircraft crashes, and it's just all over the news because, well, Donald Trump did fire a bunch of FAA people, and we all know why. It's because on January 17th, Elon Musk's spaceship crashed. Remember the visual of the spaceship coming apart in the sky? Yeah, the FAA was investigating that. And as soon as Donald Trump got in office, he immediately shut the FAA down and fired a bunch of people, especially the people that were investigating that shit. So understand that one of the things that I'm kind of hearing is if you read Joe Biden's last couple executive orders, it it lends itself to a thought process that Donald Trump's doing all this hands off, not putting a bunch of bills forward for all his shit that he could easily get passed. All his executive orders and presidential orders could have been made into bills, could have easily passed, and didn't. Could it be because he's ignorant, has dementia, can't actually read, all that shit? Sure. But if he planned to do all that horrible shit, he would have just turned them all into bills. Put it on the Senate floor, put it on the House floor. And instead, I just kind of think Elon Musk and Donald Trump are not the brightest crowns in the box. They thought if he has immunity, any executive order or presidential order just goes. It's not how that works. That's why you have federal judges. Okay? There's a reason Joe Biden, a bunch of federal judges, 235, right? Even broke Donald Trump's prior record. So I wanted to say that. I wanted to say that there at the end. The rumor is go read Joe Biden's last couple executive orders. Consider that, and I'm just making observations based on facts. Think about how prevalent airline crashes have been in the news. Go look at the actual crash numbers, which are not doctored. And you realize, like, oh, the odds of a crash, like, crashes are way down. Mm-hmm. Who's in control of the media? Who's deciding what the media talks about? Who's in power, really? It's kind of fucking wild to think about, isn't it? if you really think about what I just said, you got to have read Joe Biden's last couple executive orders. So make sure you do that and then come back. Was I not live? Was I not live? My live ended. Okay.